Hello guys, hello to the FFBE community. I am Scousers UK on all of my social media, on Reddit and things like that. I'm pretty opinionated, so you might have seen some of my stuff on some other content creators' videos and Twitter and whatever. But I wanted to really take some time to discuss FFBE Global. I know recently a lot of stuff has been made of JP and how, the Summon Fests have not been very nice to them, but it's also not just to do with the Summon Fests. Obviously, if you want more detail, you're best to ask the Japanese player base about that. I don't play that side of the game, but I know that's been a hot button subject recently in the community. I really want to talk about Global because after recently getting the surprise, I suppose, of having Xeno of the Beta added into the game with the Axe Star banner, I wanted to talk about my sort of love-hate relationship with the game. I got into the game not because I loved Final Fantasy. I mean, I liked it as sort of a casual person, but I didn't love the franchise. And I got into the game and I started to enjoy it. Now, when I first was early on in my playing time, I actually didn't really spend that much money. Of course, like these games tend to do, it enticed me to want to spend more money. You know, get the units, get the higher damage levels, get the best healers, the best tanks. You understand what I'm talking about. But I'm now in a situation in the game where I'm thinking to myself, what am I actually doing? What am I achieving here? Am I achieving satisfaction of doing a new trial, of doing a new story event, whatever it may be? Is that satisfying enough for me to keep on, firstly, to keep on playing the game, but then second, to actually keep on spending in the game? Now, of course, if less and less people are spending in the game, that is not going to be good for Gumi and for Square Enix, of course. And really, it's a little bit tough right now because obviously when 7 stars were introduced, it gave a new ceiling to the game. It gave a new power level to the game. You could, you were improving upon all of the damage numbers, all of the modifiers, all of the items. STMRs were introduced, which is, collect 4 copies of the unit. I mean, just think about that. 4 copies of a unit to get an STMR. Now, of course, we know the UOCs were added to try and alleviate some of the pressure, but then on the global side, we don't seem to get as many UOCs, or we don't get as easy access to UOC tickets as the Japanese side. But people have come out recently and they've said, well, maybe that's a good thing, because if we got too many UOCs, then they might do banners without UOCs, which, like the Summerfest ones on Japan, would be pretty bad for free players. But anyway, as we've gone through the 7-star era, I've actually lost quite a few friends. They've just quit the game. They're like, I can't keep up with 7 stars. I struggle to even pull 1 copy of the unit on the banners. And now I'm in a situation where I have to pull 2 copies to reach their full potential. And honestly, for people who argue, well, some of the 6 stars, they're still alright as 6 stars. I'm sure they are. But as you know, and as I know, 6 stars is not cutting it anymore. And now it's a situation where we are going through the same cycle over and over and over again. As we saw with the Energy Raid, as I like to call it, for the Easter event. They made a big statement, we're doing some global exclusive stuff. I was like, yes man, I'm excited for this global exclusive stuff. What did we get? We got basically a raid, but you actually use your energy or your stamina instead of using raid orbs. That is basically what we got. It wasn't a redesigned event type, it wasn't a different game mode, it wasn't like anything different. It was just the same template, but slightly, very slightly altered. Do you remember the wave battles? Yeah, I remember the wave battles, they were fun. And this is really where my frustration comes in. I sat and I thought to myself, let me go and get Xeno. Let me go and get him. I pulled a step up, 25,000 lapis. Now, when you watch some of your content creators, they will just go, you know, they'll go on the step up, and they'll be like, bam, 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 through all the steps. They'll just churn through the steps, eat up the lapis, and churn through the steps. And as a viewer, you're sitting there and you go, wow, that was easy. No, that was fine. He's done one step there, that was fine. Just understand how much 25 lapis costs. 25,000 lapis, sorry. Now, of course, I'm in pounds, so you will have to convert this to the dollar, but you guys know what it is. You know what it is. $100 for 18,000 lapis. So you're effectively spending over $100 for one run on the step-ups. Now, people may argue, they may sit and they may argue, well, you know, you're getting all of these goodies with the step-up, man. You're getting all of these goodies. The thing for me is this, okay? If you are coming to do a step-up on a banner, you're doing it for one reason. Because you want the units that are on the banner. And you know that one of the easier ways to get the unit is to try to get them guaranteed somehow. Because 3% rates, the first thing about that is those rates are terrible. They're so fucking low. Then, even if you pull the rainbow, you're then rolling RNG to decide if you even are allowed to get the unit. And, as you see with this banner, it's an Axstar and Xeno banner. So, of course, even if you get an on banner, then you're rolling to decide whether you get Axstar. Pardon me, Axstar or Xeno. Okay, so there's that point. So, going back to the step up, you spend 25,000 lapis, and then on the end, you get your Xeno or your Axstar. Now, of course, for me, I was going for Xeno. A lot of people would be going for Xeno too, because if you're going for Axstar, you want to do the other banner, because you're guaranteed to just get Axstar. I was going for Xeno. Now, on my first run, I got Axstar. Now, okay, RNG. People will just say, RNG, man, you know, RNG, that's just the way it is. I get it. I get your point. I got no other featured units all the way through the steps. So on all 5 steps, I got no other featured units. And again, you might say, well, you get your guaranteed rainbow. Okay, 15,000 lapis and I get one random unit. You get your 10% ticket. Well, we know what happens with those 10% tickets. I did this step up 3 times, and I got no rainbows out of all 3 of those 10% tickets. Again, RNG. But as we know, 90% blue tickets. You got your guaranteed ticket, man. Those aren't guaranteed on-banner units. It's a 20% chance to get the unit. And have a guess what? I did not get the units. I just got random rainbows. Again, RNG. Okay. So, as you can see, this is my last run. I spent 75,000 lapis. That is how much lapis it took me to get Xeno of the beta. Now, you know, it can happen to people. You've seen popular YouTube creators like Clake going crazy deep on some banners. You've seen other content creators, you know, spending 20,000 and getting 2 copies of the unit they want. Hal's a good example. He frequently gets pretty lucky with RNG. Things like this, it can happen, I get it. But my point, or this point I should say, that I'm trying to make, is that now that you need 2 copies of these units, you have 2 options. You either go crazy deep into banners quite a lot of the time to get those 2 copies, or you do what some creators try to tell you to do, and you get 1 copy and then UOC the other copy. Now that's fine and good, but you have to wait 2 weeks before you can do that. Okay, 2 weeks isn't that long, why are you complaining, dude? Well, remember, pardon me, remember, that is 10 UOC tickets. If we are getting approximately, again, because, you know, this could change, 2 UOC tickets every month, that is 5 months worth of UOC tickets that you have just used for that 1 unit to get that 7-star, if you went for the option of getting 1 copy on the banner. So it's really tough. It is really tough. Honestly, the people that are flourishing and the people that are actually surviving in the game right now are, well, actually there are 2 people. There are 2 groups of people. One group are the whales and the people who spend a lot of money, who spend 70, 80, 100,000 lapis, 100,000k lapis on banners. And the other people that are surviving are the people who just don't care. The people who don't care about the power curve, about the units and things like this. Now, of course, Gumi have also come out and they've said, we understand people are getting worried. They can see the power levels are spiking up for units. They're getting worried that they can't keep up. And I can only assume that they're going to slow the power curve down. They're going to try to just... they're going to try to entice you in other ways to pull for the units, because they're going to be pretty similar to what you have now. Okay. So then after spending that 75,000, I'm like, let me go and do some content with my units. Now, you have multiple options. You can go into old trials that you've done before. Some people find that enjoyable. I don't personally like to repeat the same content over and over again. Or you can go to some of the other content that they've got in the game. And as you can see, I couldn't really give a flying fuck about the other content. You have raids, okay? Fine, that's fine. We get these every month. Sometimes we get 2 of these in a month. Or we get different variations. We'll get the energy raid like we had for Easter, and then, you know, we've got this now. And this is just monotony. It's just the same thing over and over and over again. It's like getting up and having your breakfast at a set time, and going to work at a set time, and going to sleep at a set time. These are things that you do because that's just part of your life. But these are not things that you do because you want to have fun, or you want to relax, or you want to be entertained in the game that you're paying hundreds of dollars into. Because remember, like I said, 25,000k lapis, and 25,000 lapis, sorry, my brain's not working it seems. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. If you're not getting supported through, whether it's like a YouTube career that you have, or Twitch getting loads of donations to basically bankroll you through those summons, or you're working in a high-paid job, it's a lot of money for a normal person. And then you come into a situation where you have this to do. Let me go into this exciting event. Don't really need to choose a unit, but let me choose a friend. Let me go into this exciting event. And remember guys, we've been doing this same shit for like years. For as long as I remember, this has been the same shit. I first came into this game when Roberta and Rem were introduced to the game as 6 stars, and they had the Bahamut raid. That is when I came into the game. And we're still doing this. And this is what I do now. I press reload. Some of my stuff didn't reload, of course. Again, this isn't really important, but I mean, I might as well do it, why not? I don't know, put that crap on too. Pick up my friend here, bam. Again, pick up another friend here, bam. And then, auto. And this is it. This is the content. Now, I understand this content is not designed to be super hard. It's not designed to be like intricate or super enjoyable, because this is a farming event. You're farming the raid coins to be able to do the summons, to be able to get the items and get the magicite and all that shit that's in there. I get that. But this is it. This is what we have to do. And then what happens now? Well, what happens now is you click again, you click repeat, you click repeat, you click repeat. I'm not going to take you through everything, but as you can understand, the arena is the same situation. You go into the arena, and the majority of the time, you're pressing reload and auto, or you're pressing repeat. And either way, you're basically repeating. And it's honestly just a situation where I'm sitting and saying to myself, why am I even doing this now? Why am I doing this? When a game becomes a chore, when it just becomes something that you're like, oh, I suppose I'll log in. When it says my raid orbs are full, I'm like, I'll get to it in half an hour or something. I don't go, oh yeah, fuck, I'm excited, let me jump into the game and do it. There's just no originality to the game. It's story event, Mog King, raid, story event, Mog King, raid. And honestly, people who can sit there and they can actually put on this super hyped personality, and they can be like, yeah, fuck, I'm so excited, man. I'm so pumped for this new event. Look at this. It makes me just sit and scratch my head and go, are you on crack? Are you serious? You spend hundreds of fucking dollars every month in the game to do the same 2 to 3 whatever different bits of content with the different skins? Because that's all it is each time. It's a different skin on the same content. There's nothing new in the game. Now people are honestly pinning a lot of hope on the 3rd year anniversary. They're thinking we're going to get some cool stuff, things are going to change, things are going to get better. I don't know. Why do I keep spending money in the game? You're probably going to say to yourself, because I'm an idiot. And I'm in a situation now where I see a new unit and I see how cool they are. You know, you get a fucking guy here with the katana in both hands, looking awesome, you know, with his big fucking goggles on. And I'm like, I want to get that. Did I need this unit? Well, no, not really, because I've got a crap ton of units. You know, as you can see, I spend enough money. I've got Esther, you know, I've got all these different units that I just... and you know, you get it. I've got loads of units that I haven't even 7-starred and things, because I'm just like, well, whatever. So I'm very fortunate. And maybe because I've got so many units and so many powerful units especially, maybe the game's become boring for me because there's not too much of a challenge. Fair enough. That's a reasonable comment to make. But it's just a situation where I just wanted to basically ramble. Now, of course, people probably ended up tuning out after the first 5 minutes, because they fell asleep with me just complaining. That's fine. The game is not horrible. I just feel like it is so dull. I log in and that's almost about it. I've done about 10 item weld runs on the same item, and I haven't received a single rare drop on it. So that's also fun. And I know that sometimes these situations can be seen as, oh, he's just really pissed off because he spent 75,000 lapis to get 2 copies of Xeno. That's why he's pissed off. Fair enough. You know, if you want to make that comment, fair play. I can't really argue. I'm sure I am pissed off. Wouldn't you be pissed off if you spent $300+ on a banner to get 2 copies? Would you be frustrated if you spent, even if you're spending over $100 per month inside a game, if you're basically buying, like, you know, you're basically paying the same pretty much as 2 brand new games, AAA games? And I know, I've heard some people go, well, you know, gacha games are not the same as AAA games. It's talking about how, when people make these comparisons, it's talking about how much time you are getting for how much money you are putting into it. You know, if you're spending, if you buy 2 AAA games, you're going to get yourself 20 to 30 hours, even more of time out of those games for that money. And when people make that comparison to gachas, they're saying, well, you've bought a unit inside the game. You're not even buying content. Because, I'm sorry, but people who sit there and who say that new units inside the game, that is content, they are talking shit. That is not fucking content. That is a tool. That is a fucking tool to use for the content. If a tool shop company sell me a load of tools to make, you know, to fix my fucking car, and then they go, oh, by the way, we've got a new set of tools. It's not content. It's not content. They're fucking tools, man. My analogy there was probably a pile of crap. But I'm sure people who actually have a brain can sit and go, yeah, I get what you mean, dude. Units are not really tools, because they're not really content. They're not content. If they want to add content into the game, they've got to give us things to do. And honestly, we have nothing to do. And when they do add content that seems like it's supposed to be challenging and enjoyable, they do things like they add a boss in that just burns all of your mana on turn 1. They add a boss in that keeps changing what element you can attack it with each turn. They add bosses into the game that basically hard lock out certain percentages of health to stop you from being able to beat them. So you're forced to use certain strategies and cheese and different things. So that's it. I'm just a random guy. You know, I'm rambling on. I'm sure many of you will go, who is this guy? I don't even know who this idiot is anyway. Fine. That's cool, guys. I have nothing against you if you say that. You know, if you want to see how I've personally got my Xeno set up, not quite as high as I've seen some people, but mine's set up like this for now. I use discernment. I know some people say, well, you know, if your friend doesn't have any status removal or resistance in his team, you know, then he's not really playing the game right. But I always stick that on my unit. I could easily swap that out for a killer. Wouldn't be a big problem. But yeah. There we go. That's all I really have to say. If you did watch to the end, thank you. I just really want to spark a conversation. Obviously I care for the game. If I didn't care for the game, I wouldn't complain. If you don't care for something, you're not going to complain about it. Because you're like, well, I don't really give a shit. Don't care whether it's good or bad. Whatever. So yeah. Thanks for watching, guys.